Happy Valentine's Day, all you lovebirds. I thought I would give you a very special video here on Valentine's Day. It is time to rank the most sensual, the most affectionate love trilogy of all time. And that is the 50 Shades trilogy.
Is he sirs? He ain't sirs. He ain't sirs.
No matter if you're in love or you're single on Valentine's Day, I think there's one thing we can all agree upon. The 50 Shades movies are bad. And I asked you guys on Twitter, what was the best 50 Shades movie? And you guys voted none. The options were none because these are all bad. And the one that received the most votes was none. Of course, none of them are good. But I went to see 50 Shades Freed, and I wasn't going to do a review. And I'm going to include a mini review in this ranking video. But we're here today to rank 50 Shades of Grey, 50 Shades Darker, and 50 Shades Free. Let's see what the worst film is, and let's see what the best film is.
How about new?
Before you guys leave this video, make sure to leave your ranking down below on how you would rank all three 50 Shades movies. Don't really have to put a lot of thought into it. You could really just put none, 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 and I would be really happy. I'd probably pin your post or something. But let's start this video off with the worst film, and that is 50 Shades Darker. This is the second film in the series, and this one tried to add more plot to it. We have the typical moments of Anastasia Steele and Christian Grey attempting to get to know each other. They're trying to build this relationship, but we also have this guy named Jack who is thrown into this movie to try to shake things up and really test their relationship. And I really don't understand why that was even necessary to put in here in the first place. I don't care even about their relationship in the first place. Why do you think I'm going to care when this other guy comes in and just tries to shake things up? I don't really care about it. I really didn't feel love from the couple in the very first movie, and I definitely do not feel it here. After a second movie, you would think that they would attempt to strengthen these characters a little more instead of just showing them having sex non-stop. This movie definitely does not do that justice at all. It does not build the characters up. It does not build their relationship at all. Once again, I do not care about Anastasia Steele and Christian Grey. I do not care about the relationship. I don't care if they're in love. I don't care if they're even going to get married. I don't care if they even break up. And the 50 Shades of Grey is, after leaving 50 Shades Darker, I just do not care. I just do not care about this movie. I do not care about the plot. I don't care that they tried to throw things in to try to shake things up. It just didn't feel necessary. And I think that a movie should have focused more on the couple and understanding each other and trying to get to know things about Christian Grey, like what he did when he was a kid and different things like that. And having this third party thrown into the movie to kind of test them, they need to strengthen them before you can test them. And they just did a bad job at writing these characters and adding some things to the plot. Overall, it was really bad. But there is one redeeming moment in this movie. The song by Zayn and Taylor Swift, I thought was a really good song, and I loved listening to it on the radio. So when they had it in there, I was like, yeah, I like this song. I've heard it a couple times, and then it's over. I'm like, okay, let's finish watching this movie. Coming in at number 2 is the second to best, or you could view it as the second to worst 50 Shades movie, and that is 50 Shades of Grey. When they introduced this movie, I really didn't know what to think about it. I'm like, oh god, this is a movie just for a certain target audience to go see, and I went and saw it anyways because I go to the movies just because. And I went and saw this movie, and it was really bad. They had Anastasia Steele as someone who's really shy and really quiet, doesn't really know how to handle things, and then you have Christian Grey, who's very dominant and has a weird fetish about things. So he sees this as an opportunity to really kind of like take control of Anastasia Steele. And it's almost like it's like a mission for him. It's almost written like as a high school movie, where those earlier movies where like the guys had the challenge to get the girl and then they fell in love with her. It's kind of like that, where he almost viewed it as like a mission to get to know her and show her the ways of not the force of his bedroom. So there's that. And Anastasia Steele, you know, she was really quiet, and then you had Christian Grey. They were the polar opposite of characters, and I think that's what the audience loved, is that they were so different that they connected in some way. They didn't connect in love, they connected another way, but the way that they handled these characters, the dialogue, the progression, the development for the characters, you just could not understand their situation and understand their motives and understand their scenario. They tried to make it like it was almost relatable, and it's not. It is a really, really bad film. And I could get into these movies if the dialogue wasn't so cheesy and so poorly written. And I haven't read the books, but I've heard the books are just god-awful. And compared to the movies, I can't imagine how the books would be. And it's written like a fan fiction of Twilight, and there's so much similarities between this movie and Twilight and all the movies and all of the Twilight films. It is painfully awkward to watch this movie and feel like you've seen it all before. Because I've seen all the Twilight movies, and I've watched them a few times just because. I don't like them, I just watch them because. 50 Shades of Grey just feels like Twilight, but with real people, not vampires and werewolves, and it's set in Seattle. I feel like I've seen this movie all before. Bella and Anastasia, both very quiet, and they meet this person who's completely different. This, Edward is a vampire, and the other guy likes certain things to do in the bedroom. They're completely different characters, and I think that's what makes them so similar. And I think the author even came out and said that they're like, she made a fan fiction of Twilight, and she literally took like everything from Twilight and made it into the 50 Shades of Grey movie. It's a bad movie, bad dialogue, very, very cheesy moments, and a focus a lot more on the intimate moments rather than building up these characters. So it leads us to the best 50 Shades movie, and I want to tell you guys right now, this is not a good movie. It just happens to be the best 50 Shades movie, and that is 50 Shades Freed. I'm finally free. I don't have to watch any more of these 50 Shades movies. But 50 Shades Freed was a little bit different from the other two because I was distracted by all of the vacation trips that Anastasia Steele and Christian Grey went on, or Anastasia Grey now. They went on a lot of vacation trips. I was distracted by the ocean and the cool hotels and the nice scenery. They went on a lot of vacations, so I saw all the vacation moments, and I put Anastasia Steele and Christian Grey behind me and forgot about them and felt like I was on vacation with them and had fun watching that and forgot all about them. And I was distracted by the nice cars too. So 50 Shades Freed is probably the most boring 50 Shades movie, and that's probably a good thing. It's probably a good thing about this movie that it's actually boring because we don't get as much cheesy dialogue, but we do get a very rushed last 15 minutes of the movie with Jack and Anastasia Steele and her friends and Christian's sister. There's a lot of moments at the end that feel like they're trying to add some dramatic weight to this movie when you really don't need it. You could just have this movie about them and the relationship and building up, having that honeymoon phase of the relationship. They just got married, so they could have those moments, build up these characters, but instead they added some of that dramatic weight to this movie and adding some characters that come back, and they have some drama going on that I just really didn't feel necessary in this movie, and I felt like they just tried to add something there at last moment just to have it in there, and it's really bad. There is one moment in this movie, the whole series of movies, where I felt like Anastasia Steele and Christian Grey were in love, and it was for 5 seconds. At the end of this movie, she's laying somewhere in bed and she tells him to come here, and she holds his head and they cuddle. And just the way that she says it, like, come here, and the way that he sat down and they cuddled together, that moment was the only moment out of all of the movies where I felt they were in love. And it came at the last few seconds of the last movie of the trilogy. It is a bad movie. They're all bad, but it's easily the most watchable film. It's easily the most distracted movie, and I think that's the best part about this, is that it's distracting with all their vacations and the cool cars, and that's about it. So there you guys have it. All 50 Shades movies ranked worst to best. They're all bad though, But I wanted to do something for Valentine's Day, and we had this very lovely movie coming out over the weekend, last weekend, and I wanted to talk about it, and I wanted to rank this video for you guys. So here is a Valentine's Day gift from my heart to yours. I hope you do appreciate it. Make sure to leave your thoughts down below on all 50 Shades movies. I don't expect you to go in depth. I don't expect you to even give me a ranking, but just give me something down below. Make sure to give this video a like as well. And hit that subscribe button so you guys don't miss ranking videos like this. And hit that bell notification so you guys don't miss those videos. You guys are the best as always. This is Just Watch Movies, and you guys stay classy, YouTube.